Olá, o meu nome é Catarina Carvalho e hoje vamos ter uma perspectiva do funcionamento de um mercado fora da Europa. Para isso tenho comigo Ashraf, Área Manager Middle East and East Africa de uma importante marca do aftermarket mundial. Hi Ashraf, thank you for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be with you today.
In brief words, how do you describe the Middle East and East Africa aftermarket?
The Middle East and East African markets, in fact, today are one of the most potential markets worldwide because they are considered by multinational companies as the new potential and as emerging markets, since most of the companies have reached saturation stage in Europe and North America. This is the future for the replacement and aftermarket for most companies.
What success factors are needed to win in that region?
In order to be successful in the Middle East and East African markets, one of the first factor is actually the selection of the right partner, the right distributor in each country. Second is to analyze the market, who are the competitors and what is the distribution strategy to be followed in each market. Then it's very important to understand the mentality of the customers, how people work in sales and distribution, and what is needed by customers. Customers in different markets have different needs. Therefore, we cannot compare or we cannot say that customers everywhere are the same. We must understand that there are different mentalities and different needs that should be fulfilled. The last factor that is very important to be successful in this region is really to provide the right product needs. For example, it's very important the Japanese and Korean car applications. The Japanese and Korean car applications are dominating the Middle East and African markets, while in Europe, for example, it's mostly European car park. So if a company doesn't have the product coverage for Japanese and Korean car applications, they cannot succeed in the Middle East and East African regions.
What you like more in your work?
What I like most in my work actually is that every year, every market visit, we learn something new about the market needs and about customers. Dealing with customers is very challenging and very interesting at the same time because we learn different things in different countries and therefore we have to fulfill different needs. So dealing with people is the most interesting part of the business. Another very interesting point is the dynamics. Markets change every day. So you have different problems, you have different issues, you have different things that happen every day. And you must be creative and come up with new ideas to deal with the new situations. This is the most interesting part in the business, is how to make customers happy and satisfied despite all the changing situations and problems which are taking place all the time. Markets are always dynamic.
And what you dislike?
In general, in order to be successful in what you are doing, you have to really like it. You have to like your job in order to be successful, and your customers should feel that you like what you are doing. Not just a job, but something that you love doing every day. However, in our job and in our markets, what we dislike is really when we cannot do business in a certain country or in a certain market due to reasons that are not related to business. For example, when there is a war or internal conflict in a country, or a country is suffering from terrorism, for example, or revolution, then simply you cannot do business, but the reasons are really force majeure, are not related to business factors, but they are related to political state or political situation of a certain country. So this is something that business people don't like because it handicaps the development of the business. Another thing that we have to be fair and say about Middle East and East Africa, it is true, it's a very potential region and has a big future, but in many countries, the rules and the way the government regulations are in place do not allow for easy importation of goods, of products, and therefore when importation of goods into the country is becoming very complicated due to government regulations like technical testing procedures or certifications or other things, that makes things very complicated in some cases and doesn't allow business to progress in the right direction.
And what is your vision of the Middle East and East Africa aftermarket in the long term, generally speaking?
In fact, the aftermarket for the Middle East and East Africa regions for the future in the long term is going to change very quickly because the change has already started. What I mean is installers, for example, or mechanics are becoming much more well educated than before. The technology of cars is changing every day. Computers, electricity in the car. So everything in the car today is becoming much more complicated than before. Therefore, installers must receive more trainings, must receive more knowledge, and should be more professional in handling the new car models. Accordingly, the aftermarket will change because we will have more professional workshops, mechanics, installers, and awareness about the new car technologies. And this requires that we must make sure that we train the people in the industry, whether they are installers or retailers, on our products in order to guarantee that there is a correct fitting and there is a correct positioning of the products.
Thank you, Ashraf, for being with us, and I wish you the best luck.
Thank you very much. I think it was very useful, all what we talked about today. It's an interesting region with a high potential, and I believe that everybody will see a lot of changes in the coming period. Thank you.
Por hoje é tudo. Até à próxima.